think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
Yeah, I just actually, I was about Nepo babies. Ever since you fucking brought this up.
You talking about Nepo babies?
Yeah, I've had like a lot of weird, like, while doing dishes or something like that, I'm getting angry about Nepo babies, and I'm like, what the fuck are you like? And not least the fact, go on.
No, I was gonna say, these fucks have robbed me from experiencing artistry.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. It's just, I was actually kind of upset at first, because first I was like, okay, what the fuck are everybody talking about? Like, and so I was like, list of Nepo babies.
Oh,
it's and early on, like a lot of them are just like people I don't give a shit about, like who have like a career that may as well not be a career. There are exceptions, but they tend to be from the older generation, like Angelina Jolie or Robert Downey Jr. or Nicolas Cage. Like the old school Nepo babies, Sofia Coppola, the Coppolas.
Yeah.
And so and then I guess what was starting to irritate me was like, because it was such a list of B-grade assholes that started this discussion and maintained this discussion, and then everybody's sort of reaction to it as if it were like somehow an injustice. I started thinking about, like, on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like it's shitty when someone's life experience gives them an advantage which they take advantage of. But I was just thinking about all the people who are upset because, like, ultimately they're just upset that it's not them. And then I go down some dark roads about like the fucking shittiness of humanity. And then I circle back realizing that I'm fucking thinking about Nepo babies. And it's been a real roller coaster. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you. Yeah.
Darkness, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And then that takes you back to, how shitty the human race is and how shitty children are and how the spirit of Christmas is ruined.
It's true. And you just kind of need a drink, man. I love how, okay, so all right, there's a new genre. Like, I love this genre, like the violent Santa Claus movie. Like, more of this, please. I want to see one every year.
I concur.
So hello everyone. We're talking violent Santa movies today. We're talking Fatman from 2020 starring Mel Gibson, and we're talking Violent Night. What's this dude's name? Sorry, David Harbour.
David Harbour, yes. Hellboy and Stranger Things esteem.
Yeah. I was looking at his. I haven't seen the Hellboy that he's in. Like they did a reboot, right? Like
yeah. He's a rated R. They tried to go rated R. Did a reboot, got absolutely shit on by reviewers because I believe Guillermo del Toro is a hard mountain to climb up against. And in addition to that, Ron Perlman laid down a beloved version of the character that walked right off the comic pages. And then, if you're walking into that, fucking that's a buzzsaw. And then, in addition to the fact that the movies still hold up due to the Guillermo's use of practical effects, so this was not an appropriate time for a reboot. So it got eaten alive. But I thought it was fun. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it just seems strange. Yeah, because I like, having not seen it, I'm still inclined to agree with you that like the time wasn't ripe for the reboot on that franchise, right?
No.
But I don't know, Mike Mignola, I guess he wanted a paycheck, just like everybody else in the movies that we're talking about today.
You know what? Give Mike his money.
Yeah, that's right. So what can we start with? We will do it out of order. Like, let's start with Violent Night.
Let's do Violent Night. That's good for me. Yeah. So we're just gonna fucking sit in a bar and get hammered. Talk about how shitty the fucking world is and how horrible kids are.
And that's exactly how both movies begin. It's weird how like they both start at a bar with a hard drinking Santa. Both of them
they do share similar like like negative themes and just like overall I don't know. I guess it's just like an almost like a nihilistic view of everything that's going on in the world now, just like a hard negativity.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think of Scrooged, like the night the reindeer died, and like this is one Santa that's going through the front. Like this is parody. But it's not, like it does. I think these movies try to say something. I think both of them. I think the first one, or the one Violent Night, has a really weird message to it. Like if you take the movie seriously on its own premises.
Yeah, well, it rings true. It rings true to a generational shift to little shitty spoiled Western fucking rat children and their need for constant consumption and video games. I mean, that's sort of an old gag too, like an old trope. Get your fucking head out of that TV,
Yeah, I was thinking of something else that we'll get to later. Like basically the way that Santa gets his magic back in this is very strange, and an interesting kind of contrast to how Mel Gibson comes back, as how the Fat Man comes up, and his transformation. That's different. So yeah, I didn't like this movie most of the time.
You know what? When did it? Because I know you had a moment. You messaged me.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, listen, I'm an hour and some odd in, and shit's just picked up. Was it Skull Crusher?
It was before Skull Crusher, but it was. Sorry, I'm fast forwarding a little bit. I've got it on in the background.
There was a moment when it embraced full comedy.
I think it did that the whole time. Yeah.
And I think it skirted some heavier themes at the beginning, divorce, a real shit family, terrorists. It started dark, it started kind of heavy, it's skirting a rated R rating. And then I think it just went fucking it just spiraled into like Home Alone ridiculousness. And literally, literally with a full-on Home Alone throwback.
I think the switch was Santa Claus is interrogated. He's already like stitched himself up, Rambo style, and John Leguizamo like fuck John. It's a shame because like his dialogue's so bad. Like John Leguizamo can do some work, but
I don't know. I feel like this was almost a high point for me, for John.
But it was so they're interrogating him. He's all tied up. John Leguizamo's like going through the bag and they're pulling out all the presents. And that old Bjorn guy, everybody's getting weirded out. Like all
he's
the
getting shook up. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, they're slowly like, he's the real Santa Claus, And I think at that point. And then there's that, and then the fucking violent scene like when he gets Skull Crusher, and starts really enjoying bodies being dismembered and exploding. Like, it enjoys its violence. Because it's revealed that Santa Claus was like an old Viking warrior, and he's kind of
like a pillager that's sort of like, for some magic reason, had to atone for his actions as a Viking by being Santa Claus. This is a very funny origin story, and only skirted upon, which, in this type of movie, it's only necessary to do that.
Yeah, I don't need any more than that. And
no, actually, it was great. Yeah, I liked that it was subtle.
Yeah, and that, because I don't want to be like a movie like this. I don't want you to fucking don't explain things to me. This is
No, I don't want
stupid.
to. Yeah, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back in time for half an hour and watch Viking pillaging. That's not.
No.
That's not necessary. Give me the flashback where I have like a cool fucking moment and I understand why Santa's an absolute unit. You know?
Yeah. I think it's at about the hour 10 mark is what we're talking about here, or thereabouts. You know who really also did it for me was the guy guarding the family.
The elf.
The elf guy, like the crazy elf guy. I loved him. Like more of that guy. Like, and he's like, let's open the presents, and he's just
the fucking testicle crushing. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Fucking volunteers to barehand some guy's nuts into a nutcracker.
Yeah. It's a shame there wasn't more of him, because he was easily the most fun out of all the villains.
He was a high watermark for sure.
Yeah. Just when but I know Bjorn and that other chick, I guess Candy Cane or whatever, he just felt he just got the nail through his bottom jaw.
Oh, that was so horrible.
Yeah.
Kate was she's playing a game. She's like, I'm not watching this. Stupid. She put it down and watched the whole fucking thing and said it was fantastic. And we were both howling during the nail through the jaw.
He just took a nail out.
It was so unexpected. And then obviously it was expected but not expected. You know, you weren't sure how it was going to play out, really. And then he gruesomely falls on the nail and screw Matt.
Yeah. I just saw that here. And so so it's at an hour 25. Sorry, that's not when I think he's about to murder all the people. It's like, it's time for murder. I could just watch this guy all day.
He's such a fucking big physical guy too. He's great.
Yeah.
I think that's why I enjoyed his Hellboy too.
Not this. I was going back to the elf fella. Although what's his nose? Harbor's. Yeah, let's talk about Harbor a little bit. He's not compelling. What's the word? I think I just didn't like this Santa barbarian character, like how soft he had become. I didn't see him being tough at all, like, because he's really pathetic, and like he's just this pathetic, bored, fat drunk at the beginning of the show, and he carries it off, like Harbor can do that, or Harbor.
Well, yeah, he does that. He's kind of a schlub. That's like I think that's why people like him. I think that's why he kind of blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Is because he's like I don't know. It looks like about a 6'4", 250-pound sort of fucking guy that just eats whatever he wants and is a normal fucking old guy.
Yeah,
and I think that's what got everybody hot for him in Stranger Things. But he carries like an edge that he can turn on, where it's like, oh fuck, that's a big guy. Like,
yeah,
I'm getting freaked out, you know.
Yeah. It's kind of he's got a wrestler body, like a not one of the big ones. I mean, like a classic, you know, like back in the Hulk Hogan days when you could be a little soft. It's just like a soft big guy.
Yeah.
He has that quality, but so it opens up and he's at the bar and he's drinking and telling everybody that he's actually Santa, and then it's really gross. Like this movie is grosser than the other movie. Like he vomits on that lady like right off the start.
And it's like pure like absolute a bunch of fucking walnuts that he ate off the table. Little fucking bits of it all over her face. Like it actually looked like vomit.
Mm-hmm.
They dumped on that woman just to upset us, and then left a nice long camera pan to really let you drink it in.
Yeah. And then he's like delivering presents. He's drunk. He's burping. I guess he's pissing all over the place too. And
it's like just eating room. It's just like pissing on the city because kids are so shitty and parents are shitty.
The whole thing, and it. I don't know. Like for a movie like this, I don't need it to really. Sorry, this is going to sound really stupid, but like it doesn't make sense. And what I mean by that is like, what I mean by that is that so the parents are the ones who buy all the stuff and commercialize it for the children or whatever, and Santa Claus existing in that space, also giving gifts to the children, like isn't like that's the same thing. Like, doesn't he say something? Maybe I'm mixing up the movies, but he's just like massive economic stimulus, or maybe I don't know. I forget.
I think that was from Fatman.
You think it's from Fatman? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, because that one's much more about the economics, but
they both skirt that same idea that like sort of like in these universes, Santa, he goes out into the world to basically like for kids in need, sort of.
Yeah, well, it's said that that's the case, but you don't you're told it, but that's fine. And we don't get to see Santa like actually doing his deliveries.
There's no indication of that because he's going to rich people's houses.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. That's a good point. And so like it's not that, again, I don't need this movie to have like some brilliant subtext or to like parcel it all out. No pun intended, but I don't why bother with that particular theme, like unless you can do something with it. There's lots of ways that these stories could have happened without, like, Santa could have been drunk for lots of reasons. He could have been upset for lots of reasons, and still ended up in these circumstances. But I think it just wants to give the audience something that it can recognize and feel. Like a classic Christmas story is, I guess it goes back to Scrooge, and perhaps why Leguizamo is Mr. Scrooge in this, who for whatever reason wants to destroy Christmas. He's just, anyway. The criticism of materialism is a classic theme of at Christmas time since Dickens. It's not just kids getting their video games and stuff like that. It's like, to be materialistic and miserly at Christmas is theoretically the opposite of whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. But there's nothing of charity. So I'm talking a lot here, but there's nothing of, I guess that's what I'm getting at. There's nothing of charity that is taught through these movies, unlike the Scrooge story. And again, I don't need that to be the case because I just want to see Skull Crusher. I just saw him break some guy's fucking leg. That's
awesome. I know. Yeah. And he's throwing that fucking sledgehammer like it's nobody. Can you imagine having a sledgehammer thrown at you?
Oh God. Yeah.
That'd be bad. That'd be bad.
Yeah, that guy that got hit with the sledgehammer at distance should not have gotten up.
No one will ever. They're all dead. Yeah, or some of the chest hits.
Oh yeah.
I can't even think. Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to be worried about it for very long because you would die in a grotesque way.
Yeah. Well, you'd be worried about it the whole time. You fucking gagged and choked and sputtered as you slowly shuck the mortal coil. But I love when he like sharpens that candy cane. That's so awesome. Stupid.
Yeah. That's really great. Yeah, and it's all in the dark, so it's sort of like badly animated and just a splatter fest, just awesome. Yeah. And they do a pretty good job with the like sort of like building the Christmas spirit and a little girl in the walkie-talkie. So he retains his magic, or he builds his magic back up through like sort of her spirit and her faith in this being like, that in him being the real Santa, and I don't know. I just find there's a childish sort of charm to it that sort of weaves through and sort of pushes through to the end.
Yeah, well, I don't think audiences have disagreed with you. What shocked me is that this movie is a success. Like it's
a huge success. It's very well liked, very well rated.
Yeah. And I'm baffled by that because like it's for the most part it is not a good movie. Many, like, to my eyes, many of the like character actors were kind of like SNL quality at best.
And
Obviously,
John Leguizamo. If you have John Leguizamo as a lead,
yeah,
you're walking a fine line.
yeah,
You're going to B-Town.
yeah, which is fine. Like, this is
John Leguizamo.
yeah.
I really like him too. He's
Yeah.
like,
Oh no, I don't. I never liked him.
Since I was a kid, I've always thought that there's something kind of he's got a charm. I don't know.
Right, the Violator himself. Is that what he played Violator?
You're
right?
damn right he did.
He had his moment.
He had his time to shine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, I suppose we'll transition over to Fatman in a minute, but like, in comparison to Fatman, which was not a success at all,
No.
I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with people? Like, if you like, the original Violent Santa movie already happened. Although not like this. This is from the director of that, like, Snow Dead or Snowblood or Snow. What the fuck was it with the Nazis in the Antarctic or something? I never saw it.
Really? I think I own that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it's the same director.
Dead Snow.
Dead Snow. Yeah, there we go.
That's very odd.
Yeah, so it makes sense that this movie is the way it is. Like so much a B movie, so purposefully a B movie. And embracing that B movie aesthetic and with the ultra violence and whatnot. Like, when he goes up that fucking chimney and that guy just fucking a shower of gore and blood all over the place.
When he uses his magic to pull Leguizamo up the chimney and just like just ends up with, like, I guess his torso.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's kind of anticlimactic, but I was happy.
I was really pleased. Yeah, and then to think that they pulled out a 14A rating, I'm not sure how that happened. People's heads went into snowblowers.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh shit. Yeah, I don't know how the ratings work, but this one had a lot of like execution killings. It had a lot of like bodies being snowblowed. Maybe it just comes down to the language. Like, I know they said fuck, or did they?
I don't know that.
Yeah. I don't.
I think maybe they kept it down to 1.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just kind of scrolling around. I got it on subtitled. I'll just see if there's a fuck that shows up. A lot of shithead kids. Like was Emma calling people shithead kids? Bullshit. Yeah, we get a lot of shit. Yeah. Anyway, so that's funny. I again, I never look at the ratings, but I would have assumed that this was a little more. That probably contributes to its success as well. I don't know what Fatman was rated.
Well, whatever they did, they skirted the fucking rated. This should have been rated R.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's got some classic elements. There's some Die Hard bits. Bits from Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2. Obviously, you got the Home Alone reference, and then there's something charming about Bjorn and Candy Cane. I think that's what her code name was.
Oh yeah, they were pretty great.
Yeah. And even like the son, like the kiss, the one who at the beginning of the movie you think like he's gonna break away from his mom, and he's not like them. He's a nice guy, but by the end it's just like he's a super shithead, just like the mom is.
Oh yeah, I like how the mom like congratulates him on trying to fucking rob her blind. Like, she's pleased.
Yeah.
He's hit the pinnacle. He's reached the next step. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty funny. The mom was actually phenomenal.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that. It was like when she comes in the room and she's on the phone, and I think that's like probably the most vulgar the movie gets. Yeah.
Oh, Gertrude herself?
Yeah, when Gertrude comes through. Yeah. I think that kind of ties into maybe what I wanted to say about how Santa gets his magic back in this story. So what's the problem? Santa's feeling ennui. I think you're being charitable when you say that, like, it's because of the growing relationship with the child that he gains his magic back. Like, he gains his magic back because he learns to enjoy violence again. Like, he asserts his manhood in an extremely violent fashion, as if to be Santa Claus is to be sort of effeminate, and to kind of be a pushover, like not a man. To go out and give and give and give, and he needs to take, and specifically take lives, in order to regenerate himself.
Oh well, that's quite the take. See, I
Yeah.
I took it more as that, like, as he progressed through the show, more people directly believed in and had faith that he was Santa Claus.
Yeah, no, that's definitely part of it, but like that whole process involves him viciously murdering people. Like that's why they believe, like
And
like
the more
yeah,
the more people he butchered, the more magic he gained.
yeah, I know he obviously has magic. He's like they also believe because Leguizamo gets the naughty list or whatever, and he's like, "Fuck yeah," like that means I can destroy Christmas. Like you are the real thing, So
I'm gonna bring this up in a not in a transition, but I guess in a transition into Fatman, is that both of these movies carry a heavy male theme, like a male condition theme. Like depression, loneliness, sort of a darkness, drinking, being emasculated, just sort of being taken down to like a lower point, either via age or just what's happening around you or the state of the world, and sort of breaking free from that, I guess.
Well, not breaking free so much as returning to a traditional, well, I don't know, to
more animalistic time.
Well, yeah, well, I think this is where the movies differ, because the ending, like the fat man is coming to town. That has a very different valence at the end of Fat Man than it does in this Violent Night movie, where Santa just remembers that, like, he wants to get back to Mrs. Claus, like, you make that miracle happen for you. And he just, like, he remembers the joy of life, and that propels him to give again, and to be Santa, and to just, so he doesn't escape anything. He just, like, he's able to be traditional again. I don't know how to, I'm not sure, maybe there's no distinction there, but yeah, because the world doesn't change, he changes, and he's just going to continue being able to be Santa Claus, right? Like, I don't get the impression that terrible mother and every family member is suddenly going to be like a good person at the end of this.
No, I think that's all kind of a moot point.
Yeah.
Or it sort of doesn't matter. It's more about Santa.
Yeah. It's about Santa just flying off, and because and he's like, now Dasher, now Dancer, and he go, you bastards.
Blitzen shitting everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Is the moon really big somewhere that I'm unaware of? I've never, and I haven't been to, like, places. Actually, no, I suppose I've been to places along the equator, but like the moon doesn't.
I thought the moon was larger farther north.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. Either way, I've never seen a really big moon. Not like they are in the movies. Like, it's really starting to blow my mind that I'm like, why is the moon always so big, man? Like, I'm asking this question, I'm not getting any answers. I don't know, because it doesn't matter what fucking movie it is.
I feel like the moon should have been bigger where we're from.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if that's the case, I still haven't seen no big moon.
Yeah, because there are not many people that have been that far north.
Yeah. Except for the people that filmed these movies, like Violent Night was filmed in Winnipeg, and Fat Man was filmed in I think it was in Ottawa, and they had
Not even
actors.
close to North.
No, it's true. Although what was it? They had horrible cold. Like it was like minus 26 while they were filming all the action scenes outside.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was I was listening
You
to
look
the
that
audio
up? Is that on
commentary.
Fatman?
I was listening on Fatman. Yeah, I was listening.
Night.
Oh no, on Violent Night that was Winnipeg, and I don't know if it was super cold then, but
Well, Winnipeg is not exactly a fucking warm place.
Yeah. But I was listening to the audio commentary on Fat Man because I bought it on iTunes and it came with audio commentary and I was like, shit, fucking here we go. So yeah, Fat Man.
Yeah, Fat Man.
I like this movie a lot more, as you've probably already gathered.
I did. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as Violent Night, and but I didn't dislike it. It's totally different. It's a different. Yeah, it has
movie.
similar running themes.
Yeah.
Yes, and sort of a similar intro to the character, but yeah, it's a different movie altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, because where Violent Night is about like the regeneration of Santa Claus through violence. This is about a Santa Claus that's not tied in like for some reason tied into the military industrial complex. And like in the end, actually, he is becoming cynical because he's able to be Santa because of a federal subsidy, but he's not able to achieve that subsidy because kids aren't nice enough anymore. And so he's getting depressed and shitty about it. But in like he's this old cowboy soldier kind of in spirit. And meanwhile, a little shitty kid has hired Walter Goggins to kill him because Santa gave him a lump of coal for Christmas.
Yeah, and Walt Goggins is the best part about that movie, and also a pretty elaborate villain.
Yeah, a lot of work went into him. A lot of work went into all of this, really, like more work than it was really required.
A lot of dimension and a lot of art, like a lot of artsy shots. The trip to Canada was incredible. Kate really disliked it. I just thought it was really wonderful.
Oh, you mean when he's in the car and it's switching from radio station, like he's listening to various types of music? It's all edited and cut.
Yeah, and then he goes into the pet store.
Yeah, I can tell you're a lizard person.
You remind me of my mother.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking barbaric things are said in this movie.
Yeah, and done and it's just a lot more work. Like this is a much better filmed movie. It's a much better written movie. But it's not as much. It's not as fun a movie. Even though Walter Goggins is a real
compelling. He's the lead for me.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of outside of the two sort of like dueling characters, or the child. The shitty child is amazing also.
Yeah.
What a fucking role for that kid. Where he threatens the girl into claiming she cheated. Yeah,
so you can get the best in show ribbon, just like every other.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. Like he jumps between emotions and not motivations, but yeah, he's just like he emotes extremely well and transitions between the emotions extremely well. So at one point he's this nice little grandson, and then like a couple seconds later he's mouthing off to the staff and hiring Walt Goggins.
Yeah, and Walt is just such a fucking his hobby.
Yeah,
where he screens items that are truly from Santa Claus, and then buys them at like sort of an unreasonable cost to just ruin people's childhoods or take pieces of their childhood.
Yeah, well, how much does your childhood dream cost? Like he wants to materialize it. He wants to collect it. He wants to materialize it. He wants to like evaluate and authenticate it. He has a real collector's, speculator's mentality. And he's just pissed off because all he ever got from Santa Claus was like a little. Well, he was abused by his family, by his father, and and lost his family when he was a kid, and Santa Claus only ever gave him like a police car, like a little dinky car. Um, and yeah, that, and I think it's when they have that final shoot out, and Mel Gibson's like, I only have, so I can't replace your parents. To Walt, like that's, there's just so much emotional. Not that it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't think this is a great movie, but like it's much not deeper, but just a lot more work and a lot more thought and a lot more like emotional intensity is brought into it. And
there was a better finish. It was a build up to more of like sort of a standoff, like an OK Corral.
Yeah.
Which was deliberate, obviously. Violent Night was violent throughout.
Yeah.
It was like a little more of the indulge yourself sort of feeling, rather than this was like sort of a wait for the showdown.
And in the meanwhile, just watch Walt. And then I don't know what your mileage is on Mel Gibson, but I could watch him make toast, as much as
I think he's great. Yeah. Even Kate was like, "Is that Mel Gibson?" She's like, "He's got such a great voice."
Yeah,
and it's so true, that he can do this all day. This is like he can make me believe whatever he's doing is filled with genuine emotion, and he's the character that he's playing. That's sort of that's a I don't know, only the best, right?
Yeah, although he stays within a certain range. Like I'm not disagreeing that he's very good and he has a very good voice, but he doesn't, he's not going to do like a Colin Farrell, where like Colin Farrell can play like a real pathetic sort of demasculated fella. Mel doesn't go that route, and I don't know if he can, and I don't know if anybody would be interested in watching him if he did.
They would not.
Yeah, because that's just not that's not the vibe he's selling. But yeah, speaking of him. So not only is he like I don't know if he's a fabulous director, but I mean, I've enjoyed the movie. Oh, I haven't seen Apocalypto, and Passion of the Christ. Maybe.
Well.
Yeah. Maybe I tried to watch Apocalypto briefly, and I was just like, oh boy, that's lots going on there.
Yeah, that's not some of Mel's movies are unwatchable.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking like Braveheart. What else? Maybe he hasn't done as many as I'm thinking he's done. But either way, it doesn't matter. Putting all of that aside, since in 2022 he made 6 movies. Like his other years he'll do like 2 or 3, but for whatever reason in 2022 he's just keeping busy. Maybe after the pandemic he was like, I got to get out there. I got to be Mel Gibson all the time.
Well, I don't know. He kind of got a pass. You know, if you want to go down that road.
You mean in cancel culture?
Yeah, he should have been canceled, but he just didn't get canceled. He just sort of laid low, and things passed, and people were like, "Hey, Mel Gibson's back. He's okay."
I'm not sure if he ever laid low though, because like, look, okay,
he did. So, I think prior to Payback, I remember Payback being sort of like a comeback special where it was like, holy fuck, Mel Gibson's not Payback.
Yeah.
The one with the radiation poisoning.
Not sure. Is that Edge of Darkness?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so that's 2010. He's done then. Oh, because we talked about this before. For me, The Beaver was when he.
Oh yes, yeah.
But then even after that, he did Get the Gringo, Machete Kills, Expendables 3. I'm just like, well, those after that, it's not really like I think he has kept a low profile because he's doing B movies. He's doing like Dragged Across Concrete is if I remember correctly, kind of a B movie aesthetic. Yeah, it's got Vince Vaughn, and I don't know. He's working with people. he's making movies, but they're just not big movies, But I don't know. Sorry, I know I'm just reading off a list here, but
yeah, no, I was just thinking there was the even Daddy's Home was such a big movie for him to be in. That was
Daddy's Home 2?
Yeah, that was like an A-list movie, like a
Right. Yeah, I don't think he ever got. I think everybody went out of the fucking woodwork. Like everybody just bent over backwards to just say that it was okay for Mel Gibson, Mr. Anti-Semitic, like the original anti-Semitic.
Well, no,
rant.
because you're thinking about I'm thinking about here. We're coming off of here. I'm just gonna go through quick. We're coming off
Sure.
Lethal Weapon 4, 98. We're going Payback, 99.
Yeah.
You're going $1 Million Hotel, 2000. On The Patriot, 2000. What Women Want, 2000. We Were Soldiers, 2002. Signs, 2002. Then, there's a couple little goofy projects that nobody saw, and then Edge of Darkness, 2010.
Yeah.
So you're talking there's a big gap there. There's an 8-year I'm gone.
Yeah.
So and that was not but then people sort of saw Edge of Darkness and The Beaver, and they were like, yeah, I want Mel Gibson back in my life, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, he's insane, and it helped that his the way that he, this is, we're not really talking about Fatman anymore, but the way he went about rehabilitating himself was to go on the talk show circuit, and I remember him talking about digging these holes in his backyard in order to bury his demons and stuff like that. This real bare your heart, say much more than you really ought to say kind of insanity that everybody will almost always forgive you for after you've done it. If you have a full pathetic breakdown in front of everyone and somehow maintain your dignity through it, we'll give you a pass. Just don't do it again, and I don't think he did. I don't, to my knowledge, he never had another drunken anti-Semitic rant, even though his father's a raging anti-Semite, apparently.
And that's the thing, though. I think I agree with that. I think you're right. I think that you can apologize. You can say I have fucking full-on mental health problems and still come back from that.
Yeah, if you're Mel Gibson, because again, I can watch him make toast, and he holds a certain, and it may be another reason why this movie, and maybe I'm saying more than I need to say about myself in this, but as a kid and as a younger or a late teen or whatever, watching Lethal Weapon and all the other movies that Mel Gibson, I imprinted upon him, he was the male action lead for me. That berserker attitude, that goofy, tortured, upset about women, mopey, but ultimately violent and good-natured male model. That was oh, that's what a man is like.
That's your male lead, yeah. And you can some people like and I mean that's a generational thing too for us from that era, was that we're from the action hero era.
Yeah.
You had your choice. You had a lot of choices.
Yeah. Yeah, you sure did.
Yeah. Some people went with weirder choices than that.
And equally problematic. Yeah. But but okay, so Fatman, Walter Goggins is fantastic. I like the story about the elves. I love when he because Mel hasn't met his quota, the federal government's look, we're activating this element of our contract, and the elves are now going to have to assemble military parts for us. So there's all these interactions with the soldiers or at least the lead soldier and the elves, and they're talking about their dietary needs.
The lead elf, yeah. That's why we live longer than humans.
Yeah, we take 15-minute naps. That way we can keep a 24-hour cycle. They're just eating candy and cakes and stuff like that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how serious they take every aspect of this movie, which I think is like sort of it's a deadpan thing where like
Yeah.
you're watching it and you kind of do like a little snicker, like like it's a different kind of comedy. It's a black fucking comedy, and the jokes are deadpan, and you gotta go into it with a sort of a different look. You're not gonna get as many like big boisterous moments as you would in that other show.
Yeah, in
Violent Night.
Yeah, because like I laughed. Yeah, the laughter that I got from this was all from just the sort of things we're talking about. Yeah, like the black comedic elements, the weird. Man, they really put a lot of thought into that, and also a lot of money. I actually kind of want to compare the budgets.
The hamster?
Oh yeah. Walt, yeah, I just saw him pick up the hamster and just like kind of kiss it. It helps that again, actually here, so Fatman Wiki, I think it was like the budget $20 million for Fatman, and that's in 20 and Violent Night. $20 million. Yeah, because they both cost $20 million apparently, or thereabouts.
Those are very low budgets for this day and age. But in all fairness, if you're going to do a rated R movie, you can typically you don't run a high budget.
Yeah, this isn't a Stanley Kubrick movie. You're you're writing a violent Santa story, which again, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see different versions of this. It would be a really nice holiday treat.
I'm ready for sequels to both of these.
Fatman 2, Fatter.
The fucking the speech at the end to the kid.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
It was fucking haunting, dude.
Yeah. So this is where these movies differ in a lot of ways. I mean, like we've already established like production
Walton,
quality. But...
The bad guy won.
Yeah.
Fatman. He won. He executed Santa. He laid a trap and a plan, which was actually kind of horrific to behold in the showdown. You thought, oh fuck, because you completely forgot about it, and then you're like, he's killing him. He's fucking killing him, and then he executes him. He is successfully the most ruthless hitman in the fucking world. Yeah. The collector, the guy that you watched for the whole movie, brought his dark plan to, and that's the part that like you like. I had a fucking genuine feeling of dread. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is not supposed to happen in a Santa movie. He did it, you know?
Yeah.
And he's not coming back. He just shot him right in the fucking face.
Yeah, that was the weird thing, and like, but he does come back. Like, like you're like, he's dead. He just shot. Like I saw a blood splatter or whatever, but I guess he survived through Christmas magic or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But you're right though. Like Mrs. Claus had to finish him off.
That wish was also awesome.
It was because she's like, I'm sorry, and again, like this movie doesn't deserve such emotional heft. But it's like of course Mrs. Claus would say something like that, I'm sorry for this. Like you've left me no choice. I'm apologizing.
And Walt's he's not a bad guy. He's a horrible person, but he's not.
Yeah.
You don't not root for him either. He didn't hurt that little girl at the start of the film. He didn't. He thinks that there was a tone shift for him in character development when he was on the road to Canada, which was also hilarious.
Yeah.
And his phone rang and it said "little shit."
Yeah.
Because that changed for me, because then you were like you knew he wasn't really aligned with the show's villain.
Right.
He wasn't really the villain of the show. He's a victim. And that's when he showed the cigarette burns and went over his childhood abuse, and yeah.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, he's a villain obviously, but like it's he's got his own agenda, his own villainy, which equally makes, because the kid's goal is, because I got a lump of coal, I'm going to send this killer after Santa Claus. And like he has like this shitty motivation. He's a little shit. Like Goggins' motivation is something that, like you could see festering within a child in a world in which there's actually a Santa Claus. Something like that might fester. Like, like, why didn't you save me, Santa Claus? That's basically what he's saying. And I've been obsessed about you and collecting you and trying to, and now I need, like, I need to kill you because you didn't save me from child abuse.
There's a supernatural aspect to the level of his ability and to the level of his need for revenge.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of makes the showdown spectacular.
Yeah. And so so anyway, but Fatman survives. Mel Gibson survives, and he's regenerated. Like he starts to get the spring back in his step because like his wife gives him. This is like pre showdown with Walt. He's already on the upswing. He's remembering why he loves being Santa Claus because like he's getting these images from these children. Thank you so much. You've this was great. You've helped me connect with my family.
And you can see them, like the little boy that wanted to be a chef grew up to be a chef.
Right. Yeah.
Which actually makes the Goggins story so like even darker because he couldn't bring him to that next point.
Right. Oh, honestly, I didn't even think of that. I misunderstood the images with the pictures. I thought it was the parents and I must have turned my head for a second. I see. Those kids grew up to be the thing that they aspired to, thanks to Santa. Right. So.
Right, and that's what made him weep, and that's what gave him his magic back, or gave him his energy back, his vigor. But that's the running thing behind Walt's torture.
Yeah. And it might, but it's too little too late. So Walt's able to overcome him, the cynicism and violence of the world overcomes Santa Claus. But then Santa at the end becomes like the authority. He's like, I'm going to take a more proactive, because like the problem, he's not getting his subsidy from the American government, from the federal government, because like kids aren't being nice enough. So like at the end, he becomes this like the figure, like the dark version of God, the God that says be good or you're going to go to hell. And he shows up, as this horror figure, and he talks to that kid, and he's like, you're going to be nice or I'm going to fucking get you. And that's the means by which
by my hands, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. And that's the means by which he reestablishes Christmas, and then afterwards he rebuilds, and he's like, yeah, Christmas is going to be better than ever because we're going to like terrorize children and get our full subsidy from the federal government. And like, there's so much under the hood here. Like that federal government angle is enough to, like, within the American context, like that's so much baggage. Like you just think about conspiracy culture but not even that, just like the general, especially in 2020. Yeah, I guess it's 2020. Like this concern and anxiety about federal structures is also sort of being activated by this movie. And again, it's like, why so much work for this? And I'm really glad they did, but it's a very different
honestly,
beast.
It is, and I think Violent Night had a lot of flash and it carried a lot of emotion, and it was very good. And I just think they were so contrasting that it took a little of the piss out of I think if I was alone with Fatman, I would have appreciated it more. Just if I wish I would have watched it in 2020, to be honest with you, and just sat with it for 2 years.
Right. Yeah.
and then got treated to Violent Night as sort of a separate entity. But I honestly, for me, these are fucking Christmas classics. Like I'm very pleased to to have these in the bag for every year.
Yeah. I permanently rented this off iTunes because it was like $4.99, and I was like, done.
Oh, what a steal! That's
Yeah.
that's something that can sit in the library with no worries.
Yeah. And just like one day I'll be like, I know what to do. All right, it's time to see Mel Gibson here.
Yeah, that's right. Christmas 2025, sitting around having a rum. You know what?
Yeah.
You know it's a great movie.
You guys ever seen this? Yeah, and then Violent Night obviously still in theaters, and I stole it. I wasn't gonna pay the rental price.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But definitely something. So yeah, these are good. This is a much better pairing than I honestly thought it was going to be. I didn't think they'd be such different movies, but also so the same. Just very. I guess there's only so much you can do with the Violent Santa.
Well, you know what? I feel like we almost learned that there's lots you can do with the Violent Santa, and there's a lot to be said about the male condition.
Yeah, at Christmas time.
How's your wife and kids?
Oh yeah, at the beginning, yeah. When he intercepts that guy who's about to like sleep with the bartender. Because he's just so concerned about the family and tradition and stuff like that.
And he has such a great family unit himself.
He does, yeah, like a loving wife, like Mrs. Claus. Him and a nice touch to. Sorry, I don't remember her name, but I know that actress well. Marianne Jean-Baptiste as Ruth Kringle. It to give him a black wife, and I know that not to be too superficial about it, but it's kind of nice to see from the Santa, from Mel Gibson, it's everything's traditional, but it's also not it's modern at the same time. Like he's not like a prude, or is it or xenophobic or anything like that. He's just loves his wife, wants to help some kids, maybe has a contract with the federal government. Who doesn't?
Yeah. And I thought Marianne was such. She's very charming in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah, great voice. Everybody. The three main characters, the three main actors. This wouldn't have been a good movie without these characters. These actors. Sorry, I keep mixing that up. And
they were you know what I mean? Like for the harsh reviews on this, which it's funny too because it's kind of a mixed bag when you go online. There are very high reviews,
right?
And then there are very low reviews.
Yeah. And I don't get it. And again, we already talked about this, but my basic theory at this point is that Violent Night is, no offense, dumber.
Absolutely, that's on the surface.
Yeah, it's dumber. It's more violent. It's funnier. It's a lighter fare. It's also distributed by Universal Pictures, so you got real money behind behind the campaign. Not that money always solves it. Just look at Waterworld, but it was on a better. It was a nepo baby. Is what I'm saying. And where Fatman is distributed by Saban Capital Group or some shit like that. And I'm sure they have a long reach, but they're not Universal Pictures. So I just feel that has something to do with it too. And I guess they were hoping to recoup on the in the long run, to have something that makes money and something that'll just keep making money over time, but won't originally kill it at the box office. But who knows? Also, the pandemic happened. Let's remember that. Actually, 2020 was a bad time for theaters. Now that I'm remembering.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So maybe I'm putting too much thought into this, and there might.
This was a funny one too, where it went straight to video, right? But
did it?
Well, or not straight to video, but I think it was almost straight to streaming, because I don't think you really had a choice at that time.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking about this all wrong. So ultimately it comes down to like I still don't think it would have been a big hit though. Like Violent Night just has it just goes down easier. And Fat Man, although not like fucking Shakespeare, is just got it requires like it asks for a little bit more from you. And it gives a lot more, I think, but it also asks, and Violent Night doesn't ask anything of you, and that's always going to be popular.
It's true. Because even when I read the low reviews, like the 2 out of 10s, the 3 out of 10s, people were like, I don't understand what's supposed to be happening. This isn't funny,
Right.
And it's rated R. It's not for kids. What is it? And it's like, well, if you're gonna, well, first of all, you shouldn't be allowed to even post a review if you're that fucking stupid. but you are. So
yeah.
Thanks IMDb for allowing donkeys to fucking post things.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we got I think that's it. We got anything else on this? We got.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah. So Violent Night. Check it out. Fat Man. Check it out. Christmas time. Get trashed.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah. Have a rye with Santa and fucking
maybe some cookies. Throw up on a waitress.
Kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Now all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.